Hey Grains, the question of the day is, do I spend too much time on Instagram? And the answer is obviously yes. Well, I mean, if I'm gonna spend time on Instagram, might as well do it for research, right? Right. And so for today's video, I really wanted us to take a look at Instagram crafts. More specifically, this is very, very specific, making different kind of crystals with resin and the crystal resin crafts. So we're going to be seeing three different kinds of tutorial. Wow, English #1. And we're going to try and follow them as best as we can and see if we can get similar results or if they're doing things off camera. So as you can see, I have a couple of things prepped. My desk is a mess. Let's not talk about that. If you're a crafter, type down below, I'm a messy crafter. #relatable. I also wanted to say a huge mega thank you to all of you that went ahead and got the merch. Check your emails pretty soon. I will be sending you a private link to a private video talking about the experience with the merch and of course a little note specifically for all of you. For those of you who have not gotten it yet and are thinking about getting it, this is your last week. It ends this weekend. After that, I will not ever be reprinting this design, ever. I mean it. So the first video we're going to be following is by Lovecraft_JP. And the idea behind this specific tutorial is resin, and we're making different kinds of crystals to add them into a little bottle, adding a little glitter, and then just piling them one on top of the other. My only worry with this is, why are we so worried about the crystal shapes when resin will tend to just disappear inside resin again? So in essence, we're just looking at having the glitter appear. I could be wrong though. And for this to work, as you notice, they are placing it closer to the edge of the bottle. Otherwise, it's just gonna disappear. And then we're putting our little cap. It is absolutely adorable. So I want to see if we're going to be able to mimic that, or if it really only looks gorgeous because they took a picture of it and then they saturated everything. What do I know? I'm just a grain of salt. To make this project our own, I'm going to be using this little bottle over here. So it's a little wider and more compact, kind of like me. No. I come in chibi format. And instead of mixing the resin itself, I'm going to be using this semi-clear blue. In addition to the glitter flakes that they used inside the actual video, I absolutely want to integrate some gold flakes. I think that is going to be just extra. I'm pretty excited. I don't know about you. So the first thing we have to do is put a base of the... Huh? The first thing we have to do is put a base of blue and then harden it. For those of you not sure how UV resin works, it's a liquid that when you harden it with a UV light or on a windowsill next to a sunlight, it kind of turns into a hard plastic. So look at this light. That's what we're doing. So I'm just gonna shine it on there for about a minute, and then we're gonna keep it going. Holy carb grains, this is hot. Look at that. It left a mark, and the second I tried to touch it down here, I burnt my finger. Warning, if you do this, don't touch it. It's really hot. Don't have it on a surface that could burn. I don't know where to put it now. I'm like, where do I put it? Now the only thing left to do is make a few different kinds of crystals. And for that, we're putting clear resin and a little bit of the glitter flakes. So let's make a few of these. If we look at the resin in the video, the blue looks really, really dark. And that's my worry, is that it looks really dark in here as well. So I'm going to be using a lighter version of the blue just so that we can make sure that we do see the stuff on the inside. Also, if we look at the video, it seems like the first layer they're putting is kind of clear and set as a base in order to put the other ones around it. So it's kind of like something to lean on. All right, let's do the doing. All right, so they do put a very thin layer down first. And they make it look really easy by putting tweezers, like these ones. Just letting the pieces harden around it. Probably should have dunked them in there first like they did. You're gonna fight me? Come on, let's do it. Please don't fight me. So let's start with transparent one. This is so nerve-wracking. How do I hold this? I really should have just dunked them in there. Oh no! Well, we lost that one. Let's just pretend it was part of the decor. It was so on purpose. I knew my finger would slip with this. All right, so now I dumped the star in the resin, and now we're just gonna cure it this way. That should do it. Let it go. Yes, it's standing. Success! Time for the second star, because we really need a solid base for all the other ones to lean on. It's like a friendship. Yes! I think we have a solid enough base to put the other ones all the way around it. I don't know if I mentioned, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter that they're star shapes, and that's because they're gonna disappear in the resin anyways. So for the second layer now, what I'm doing is I just put them closer to the edge. I have no idea what I'm doing, and I hope I'm doing it right. Now we're going to put the final layer of resin. As I'm watching the video for the 30th time, I realized that the last bit of resin has been getting clearer and clearer, so that's what we're doing. This sugar snaps is so hot, so leave it fully cool down before you put the top on. You don't want to create a mess and then condensation and then it ruins your whole project, and then you're going to be So here it is, all done. I really think that it would look way better if we had some kind of maybe miniature fish that you could make out of clay and put them towards the front of the bottle. Right, Angel? Wow, that was a big yes! Oh my god, you're so smart, you know that? Did you hate me? That's not funny! I'm talking! Come back here! On to the second tutorial, and this one I've seen a long time ago, and it was something that I've been wanting to do forever. I just didn't have the material to do it, and it's pretty much using gummy resin. And once you put the gummy resin together, you can cut it. Look at it. It looks absolutely glorious. And they cut them into little crystals and then glued them together as though they were pretty much crystals sticking out of a ring. My only concern with this is that it's resin and it's sharp. Maybe it's not sharp. Maybe the gummy resin isn't. Angel, don't interrupt. So I'm wondering if we can poke ourselves or hurt ourselves with something like this. Angel, do you think we can hurt ourselves? Is that because you're gonna bite me? Why is he mean to me? I don't know. Come here. So here's the gummy resin. This one I got in the Sophie and Toffee premium box. The thing with this one is that it tends to harden before it arrives, so let's hope that it does arrive safely. Glorious! The first pigment dye that we're using is purple. Why'd you do that? Whatever, dude. And if we look closely at the video itself, we can see that they're putting a kind of silvery glitter. I'm not sure if it's iridescent, but I have hollow. I'm pretty sure it's not gonna hurt to put hollow.
Well, hello everyone.
You proud of yourself? Unfortunately, I don't own a deep square or rectangular mold, so I'm going to be using different shapes. We're cutting it anyway, so it's not like it matters as long as we put the gradients. I have to say, I am in love with gummy resin. Holy carp. Look at this. It's so flexible. So flexible. Now the only thing left to do is exactly the same thing, except with blue, and put it on top and harden it. Now we just need to cut it. Alright, time to unmold this. I really hope it looks as pretty as it does in those videos. And that is so pretty. So we do have the gradients. We just have to chop off where the blue is and cut it. Here's the next one. And now the true test of this gummy. So the true test of gummy is how well or how easily we can cut this. So let's see, they made it seem pretty easy. There you go. Oh, that was easy. Oh, that is really cute. All right, I'm gonna chop it and let's make some crystals. So I've taped the ring down. A legitimate question is, how hard is it going to be to make it look like crystals sticking out of the ring? Because all it shows us is that we're supposed to dab a little piece here, put a piece of crystal, and shine the light. Something I'm a little worried about is whether or not the resin is going to stay on the metal, but I guess we'll find out. And so far so good. Let's keep going. I don't know about you, Grains, but this looks pretty darn epic. So far, both tutorials looked amazing in the pictures that they made. I am so surprised because the last time we did this, I failed. If you haven't seen the video yet, make sure that you do check it out. I'll link it in the iCard section as well as in the description box below. But with all accessories, a lot of times they look nice. The second you put it on, it looks like poop. So here's what it looks like on a finger. I have to admit, it actually looks really cool. If I wore accessories, this would definitely be right up my alley. And because it's made out of gummy, this part here, they don't poke, they just bend. I love this so much. So kudos to C Channel Arts and Study for coming up with this tutorial. I don't know if they came up with it, but they're the first ones I ever see do it. This last tutorial seems slightly on the lazy side, so let's see what it looks like. So this next video is again by Lovecraft JP, and essentially the idea is we're taking oh, the salt, don't stay down. We're taking crystal shapes and placing them on rocks to look like rocks are growing out of there. And even though this looks pretty plain, I feel like adding more of that glitter, the hollow glitter, might give it just a little bit more character. I mean, the idea does look pretty cool. So we're going to try and recreate it, and I have one of the exact molds that they're using. I don't have any other crystal ones, so we're just going to have to place these two different shapes in 3-4 different poses. So as I'm making the crystals, I wanted the colors to be really opaque. The first ones turned out absolutely gorgeous. I love the gradients with the blue and purple, but as I'm making the second batch and rewatching the video, I realized that I did not put that last bit of clear in the back to make the center kind of a little bit transparent. So I went ahead and did that on the second batch. Now, even though they make it seem pretty easy, this here was really tricky because even though I put the resin, it started leaking right away because gravity, you know, that thing that keeps us from flying into space. So I had to try and reinforce by putting it in the back of the rock and letting it leak and then hardening that part. So I went ahead and did the exact same thing for the other two gems and then followed the procedure to make it look like there's more crystally liquid on the rock. So here are the 3 crystal projects that we did. The crystals inside a tiny bottle. This one really does look like floating glitter in there. Definitely the gold and blue, the deep dark blue, give it so much more character. We also did the crystal ring with the gummy resin. I loved this project so much, and I am so happy to have gummy resin. And last but not least, we have the leaky crystal rock, which I honestly thought I would hate because I'm like, this is just a very lazy project, but it's not. It's not a lazy project. It has this really cool vibe to it, almost like a space rock, so I'm definitely loving it. Out of these 3 projects, which one would you be most inclined to do, or which one is your favorite of all time? Let's say you had to choose one. Which one's your favorite? Make sure that you vote, and if you don't want to vote and you just want to talk about why you would choose all of them, let me know in the comment section below as well. If I had to rank them by my favorite, I would say Crystal Ring first place, Crystal Rock would take second place. I don't know, I totally judged it. I'm sorry for judging you, Crystal Rock. I'm sorry. And in third place, the little bottle. Don't forget to check out the last week of merch down below in the description and iCard section. If you want to watch a crafty video, make sure you check it up here. More specifically, if you want to see the Instagram painting recreation video. And if you want to watch a salty video, check it out down here. Until then, I will see you grains in the next video.